Captain Thomas Reed stared out the viewport of the Horizon Seeker, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of the nebula they were traversing. 20 years of deep space exploration had taught him one fundamental rule that had kept his crew alive: stick to the established paths. "Captain, I'm picking up an anomalous reading," First Officer Laura Ellis said, her eyes fixed on the scanner. Well, I've never seen anything like it." Reed moved to her station, studying the readouts. The neural pathway, a mapped route, through this section of space designated safe for human vessels, stretched before them like an invisible highway. But approximately 3 light minutes to starboard, something was emitting an energy signature unlike anything in their database. "What do you make of it, Officer Ellis?" Reed asked, though he already knew her answer. Laura had always been the curious one. "Sir, with all due respect, we should investigate. This could be first contact material." Reed shook his head. "The Galactic Coalition established these neural pathways for a reason, Laura. We stick to protocol." "But sir, that's final." The tension on the bridge was palpable as they continued along their designated route. The humans had only been part of the interstellar community for 30 years, newcomers by all accounts. The alien species that formed the coalition had welcomed humanity with open arms, or tentacles or electromagnetic fields depending on the species, but with strict guidelines. Chief among them: never deviate from established neural pathways, without coalition approval. Laura wasn't the only one fascinated by the anomaly. Engineer Marcus Johnson approached Reed in the mess hall that evening. "Captain, I've been analyzing that energy signature. It's putting out patterns consistent with artificial intelligence, but more complex than anything we've encountered." Reed sipped his coffee. "Marcus, drop it. We're continuing on course." "But what if it's a distress signal? What if someone needs help? Then the coalition would have informed us those are the rules." Later that night, Reed was awakened by an alarm. Rushing to the bridge, he found chaos. "Sir," the navigator James Wilson shouted, "we've been knocked off course. Something hit us while we slept." Reed checked the readouts. They were drifting away from the neural pathway. "Get us back on course now." "Engines are unresponsive," Marcus reported from engineering. "Working on it." Laura's voice came next, unusually excited. "Captain, look. The anomaly is moving. It's coming toward us." Reed felt a chill run down his spine. In all his years traversing the stars, he'd learned that the universe was full of wonders. Yes, but also dangers beyond human comprehension. "All hands prepare for possible first contact," Reed ordered, though his instinct screamed that this was something else entirely. The anomaly approached rapidly, resolving into a massive structure that defied logic. It seemed to fold in on itself in impossible ways, gleaming with an iridescent light that hurt the eyes. "It's beautiful," Laura whispered. "It's wrong," Reed countered. "This is why we stay on the path." A transmission cut through their comms, causing everyone on the bridge to wince in pain. It wasn't sound exactly, more like concepts being forcibly downloaded into their minds. Curiosity, deviation, discovery, consumption. "What is it saying?" James asked, clutching his head. Reed understood with sudden clarity. "It's not saying. It's telling us what it does. It feeds on explorers who stray from safe routes." The entity continued its approach, unfolding into something resembling a vast net of energy. The ship's sensors went haywire and several systems began to fail. "Captain," Marcus called from engineering, "I've got partial engine control. We can make a run for the pathway." "Do it," Reed ordered. The Horizon Seeker lurched forward, straining against whatever force was pulling them toward the entity. On the view screen, they could see other derelict ships, hundreds of them, now visible within the anomaly's structure. Some appeared ancient, others more recent, all from different species and civilizations. "It's a trap," Laura realized, horror dawning on her face. "It lures ships off the path with signals they can't resist investigating. And the Coalition knows," Reed added grimly. "That's why they're so adamant about the paths. They're not restricting us, they're protecting us." The ship shuddered violently as the entity latched onto their hull with tendrils of energy, Systems failed throughout the vessel, and Reed knew they had moments at most. "Captain," Marcus shouted, over the comms. "I can overload the engines. It might not destroy that thing, but it could give us the push we need to break free." "Do it," Reed commanded without hesitation. The resulting explosion rocked the ship, tearing away a section of the aft hull. Warning klaxons blared as emergency bulkheads slammed into place. But the gambit worked. They broke free from the entity's grasp and tumbled back toward the neural pathway. As they crossed the invisible boundary back onto the path, the entity halted its pursuit, hovering at the edge like a predator watching. Prey escaped to safety. 3 weeks later, a battered Horizon Seeker limped into Coalition Space Station Delta. The Coalition Council was waiting. "You survived," stated the counselor, a tall, slender being with eyes that reflected starlight. "Few do once they encounter the Pathfinder." "Pathfinder?" Reed asked. "One of many ancient entities that predate even our oldest civilizations. They feed on curiosity and technological achievement. They are why we established the neural pathway system 10,000 years ago." Laura stepped forward. "Why aren't new explorers warned specifically about these threats?" The counselor's expression was unreadable. "Would humans have believed us, or would they have needed to see for themselves? Your species' defining trait is curiosity, after all." Reed understood then. Humanity's greatest strength was also its greatest vulnerability. The universe was full of wonders worth exploring, but also horrors beyond imagination. "You will file a full report," the counselor continued. "And perhaps now, when you tell your fellow humans why they must never exit the path, they will listen." Reed nodded solemnly. They had survived to deliver a warning, one written in the graveyard of ships,